Hello everyone, Nimblebee here, and today I'm gonna show you how to make a working drum set. So let's get started. So first of all, you have to grab your makeup pen. To do so, you can open up your watch, go to backpack, and press use on your makeup pen so you can pick it up. Or you can also favorite your makeup pen to grab it from your back. So when you have your makeup pen out, you have to look at the top of the makeup pen, press create, go to palette, and go to shapes, and here you can choose many different shapes that you want to use by clicking on it. To make a, for example, normal drum set, I'm going to use spheres, cylinders, some cubes, and more cylinders. And also different colors here, materials, and all that stuff. So I'm going to speed it in this video up right now. To manipulate something, you have to press manipulate button and select the item that you want to manipulate, just like that. To make a normal drum, you can use, for example, just cylinders. First one for the bass, doesn't matter what color it is. Second one in the center to make it like a frame for the drum itself, and then the top. To make something small, you can go to settings, 0.5 position snap, and manipulate the bass. Now for example, you can clone this shape by pressing clone button and clicking once this green arrow, and then manipulate the top. To recolor anything that you want to recolor, you have to look at the top of your makeup pen and press recolor button. Then choose any of colors that you want to recolor into. You can also change the material of the shape that you want to recolor. Then here's our drum, but we need two drums here. So we're gonna press select button and select all the shapes. So they're going to be green, and we can, for example, press rotate tool, and as you can see, here are some circles around this shape. We can, for example, use the blue one and rotate it somewhere here, and a green one and rotate it here. Then press the move button while selecting and move it somewhere in here by using arrows. Here. Easy peasy. I want to make a second drum here, for example, but I'm not going to use a blue arrow here when using a clone tool. I'm going to just select whole thing and choose this symbol, which is the mirror tool. So if you're going to clone the shape, it's going to be mirrored. And I'm going to put it somewhere. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to use 5 position snap to let it be centered. Nice. When you're done with your drums, you can also press done editing to let the whole drum be as one single object, as you can see. So here are drums. To make some comfortable modes to it, like add comfortable modes to it, you can press configure tool on your makeup pen and select the drums. You can make it environment so people cannot go through them, or you can make them decoration so people can go through them. You can also make it ungrabbable by clicking this check. But to make 100% sure that this is going to be in place that you want it to be, you can press freeze button and click the tool, which is going to say object frozen. As example, if the object is frozen, I can press move tool on my maker pen and try to move the object around, and the game is going to tell me that arrow object is frozen. If you don't want to let the object be frozen in one place, you can press again the freeze tool and unfreeze the object. So here are drums, but we want to actually make them playable. So how do we do it? Easily. We go to create, go to gadgets, other chips, second page, and SFX chip. If you have 2 drums, then I'm gonna set here 2 SFX chips. But this is not enough. We're gonna also go to other gadgets, second page, and trigger volume. We're gonna spawn it in and manipulate the trigger volume by pressing manipulate tool and clicking it. It's really easy to do. Sometimes it gets like this, but that's okay. If you want to have more like accuracy to the trigger volume, you can also rotate it and press manipulate again to manipulate it like this. But this little cube is enough. You can move the trigger volume by pressing it and moving it like this, or you can use arrows, so it doesn't actually matter. So, next step is the rotation. So, when you press it, the rotate tool on it, you want to let the trigger volume face the direction that this drum is looking at. But do not set check on this little box, because if you do, then you can see the differences here. That's why I'm not going to set check on it, and try to rotate it like this. I'll set check on it again and set it somewhere here. Sometimes it's always good to use one position snap. And that's it, but that's not actually enough for our trigger volume. We just need 2 of them to set one here and one here. And you maybe think like, oh, that's okay because I can use the clone tool and press the mirror tool on the object, but that's impossible actually, because the mirror tool works only on objects, not the props like gadgets, like gizmos here, or other props like weapons, dynamic, furniture, or all that stuff. So we're gonna use the arrow here and then just rotate it like this. Here you go. And of course you have to set check on this thing. We're nearly completed this, because the only thing we need to do, we have to connect the trigger volumes to the SFX chips. How do we do that is we have to press wire tool, and here's like the red arrow here, right there. So you have to press it, press it, and set it on red square to connect it, which is the play sound. And if you don't see it quite well, actually the trigger volume is connected with this red arrow, but sometimes they don't connect because the trigger volume is too small. Same thing with this trigger volume. We're just gonna connect the red arrow to the red square of the other SFX chip, which is the play sound 2. But drums are not actually quite done yet, because we have to click the configure button on our maker pen and configure the SFX chip by clicking it, and set check on these 2 options. Because, for example, use 3D audio. It's the option when, if you set check on it, then the sound is going to come from only this chip. Like, if you are listening to this in headphones, then you're quite lucky, because if I'm going to turn around and going to press, for example, blue team wins.
Blue team wins.
You can hear it only from this chip.
Blue team scores.
Here's how it works. But if we're not gonna set check on it, it's gonna be 2D sound, which is the sound that everybody can hear everywhere. And it doesn't matter where they are. If I'm gonna be here and press the blue team wins, I'm gonna hear it like kind of from ahead.
Blue team wins.
It doesn't matter which direction I'm gonna turn. That's why I'm gonna set check on 3D audio. Interrupt current sound is the option that if you set check on, then for example on blue team scores, it works quite well on this one, because if you're gonna press the trigger volume many times, then you can hear something like this.
Blue team scores.
But if you don't set check on it, you can hear something like this.
Blue team scores. Blue team scores.
As you can see, I touched it many times, but coach wanted to first complete her sentence and then say it again. So I'm gonna set check on it. Next one I want to do is I want to use sounds page on this configure tool. So I'm gonna use arrows to find my own sounds that I want to use, for example score or game over bell, revive, ding, whistle, ding ding, and all that stuff. On this sound I want, for example, use thud, which is this sound. Nice. Then I want to configure this chip. Do the same thing with this one. Set 2 checks on these configurations and then just use any of specific sounds. Here I want to use the snare drum, for example. And here you go. So when you're done with this, you can freeze all these tools, throw away your Mega Man, and it actually works here. Yeah. But if you don't want to see all of these gadgets, you can go to your palette, go to settings, and here's hide gadgets for me. You have to make sure that this is orange to let them disappear. But if you want to make sure what is wrong with all the gadgets, you can also unclick it to see all the gadgets. But if all the players are gonna join your room, they are gonna also see all the gadgets, which is really bad, isn't it? So that's why we're gonna open up our menu and go to this room, settings, permissions, everyone, configure, can view gadgets, override, no. If you have it on override, you can see that all the people that are going to join your room, they're not going to see gadgets, gizmos, and all this stuff. If you're going to set yes, then of course they're going to see them. So, here are your drums, but you can also experiment with your drums. For example, making the drum set like this, by using plates here, more drums, the bass drum, or however it's called, I don't know, and the chair, of course. But if you don't want to make your own drums, you can also go to Invention Store, just like that. And to go to Invention Store, you have to open up your watch, go to Store, go to Enter Store, Inventions, and here's a lot of inventions that you can get from the store. But we're not gonna look for them now, we're looking for drums. So you press search, the search button, and right here, for example, drum set, and press search button, the right one. And here are at least 3 drums that I did find in Invention Store that you can get by, for example, pressing information button and press get. You can also cheer this invention if you want to, but you can also just press get and it will be downloaded. And this is how to make a drum set. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you want to. But my name is Nimble Bear, and I'll see you later.